What is up, film geeks? My name is Trevor. Welcome back to the channel. We are now in the month of June, but before we get into June movies, we gotta rank all the May movies that I watched from my least favorite to my favorite. We normally do these in a tier list video, switching it up, ranking them from my least favorite to my favorite. I saw 6 movies in the month of May. Before I give you guys my ranking, jump your way down below in the comment section. What is your favorite and least favorite movie that came out in the month of May? Hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Let's hop into this. So in last place, it's actually going to be Furiosa. I want to start by saying I thought every movie I watched in the month of May was a 3.5 or better. I enjoyed Furiosa. I watched Mad Max Fury Road a couple days before I watched this one, so I didn't have all that much attachment to the Fury Road or the Mad Max saga. I have not seen the original Mad Max movies. Mad Max Fury Road, I really enjoyed. It's a solid 4 out of 5 for me. Coming into Furiosa, they gave us a lot of backstory here. The character of Furiosa is so fleshed out. You get to see exactly where she came from, what she went through for basically an entire hour of this movie before she becomes the Furiosa that Anya Taylor-Joy portrays. Chris Hemsworth in this movie is Dementus. He's just the best villain we've seen in a long time. He's despicable. He's outrageous. He's loud. He's crazy. He's yelling and stuff. And it was fun. The visuals in this movie, they took me out of it. I ain't gonna hold you. I thought they was not very good visually pleasing. And Mad Max Fury Road is a beautiful movie to look at. So with this one, several times I was like, is that like a cardboard just painted behind him? Because it doesn't look good. So the visuals kind of took me out of this one. And I felt it was very long. It was definitely over 2 hours. And you can kind of feel that. And at the end of the day, I'm just not the biggest Mad Max fan. Not all being said, I thought the action was done well. Chris Hemsworth is a solid villain. Anya Taylor-Joy, when she comes in, she's great. You can put her in everything. She's fantastic. And the action scenes are grand and epic and everything you're wanting them to be. And it has much more of a story that Fury Road is kind of lacking, in my opinion. Fury Road's a very long car chase scene. With Furiosa, you have a story of revenge. And she gets it. At number 5, Kingdom of Planet of the Apes. I think these bottom 2 for me are really hot takes. But Kingdom of Planet of the Apes is another solid 4 out of 5. I had a lot of enjoyment with this one. I also had lots of frustrations with this one. And a couple of those frustrations were the runtime definitely felt a little bit long. I think it's about 2.5 hour movie. It did not need to be that long. Also, we don't get to spend time with our villain, Proximus Caesar, nearly enough. I loved the villain. I thought he was great. What a wonderful day! And he was barely in the movie. And I was kind of bummed out about that. And the movie moves at a snail's pace. And I appreciate a slow burn, but at times it is crawling through the mud, and it's hard to get through. I was solid at 3 o'clock on a Sunday by myself, and man, I was trying not to doze off because that runtime and how slow this movie moves can get you. Now, moving on to the more positive side of things, I loved the character of Noah, and I love the world they're trying to create with this one. And if they want to make more of these movies, which I'm hoping they do, I am on board with it. I wouldn't say necessarily that the whole human storyline was that great. I mean, the previous ones have been better than the Matt Reeves trilogy. With this one, the human storylines, I mean, it was definitely the back burner, but it kind of had that be the flesh point throughout the film. But when you're focusing on Noah and his colony and what they do with the eagles, I loved it. I thought it was done so well. I didn't have that emotional attachment with them. I think that can grow as time goes on. And I think it's a good setup. I think you could move a little bit faster in the next couple movies. But for the most part, for a start of a new trilogy, I think it was a pretty solid movie. Next up is going to be The Idea of You. This is based off a fan fiction of Harry Styles. Didn't know what to expect going into this one. It came out on Amazon Prime. My wife was looking forward to it. And my wife loved it, and for whatever reason, I enjoyed this one a lot, and I've watched it like 5+ times now. It's one of those movies my wife always has on at the house, so whenever I come home from work, I'm like, wow, we're watching this again. The music, fantastic. We bump it in the car, and I love it. Anne Hathaway, she doesn't age. She's a beautiful woman, but she's so good in this movie, and it's just about basically 2 people meeting their lives, but kind of this right place, but wrong timing. And that's the big, I guess, message and morale to the story. Anne Hathaway's much older than this young rock star. 2 opposites that slowly somehow attract to each other, and the movie is good. It's captivating for a fan fiction that's brought to a movie. We've seen them done terribly. I thought this one was handled very well. I would just more call this a romantic, not a romantic comedy. Didn't have a lot of humor. The music is great. The love is good. At times, this movie gets hot and steamy, kind of sexy. Gonna say it. Gonna put that out there. See how it feels. At number 3 is John Krasinski's If. I was really nervous going into this one. Very excited, but also equally as nervous because I was just thinking this could be a silly, overly silly, dumb movie. And I'm glad to say it was not. And I really enjoyed it. It had such a heartfelt message in here. And there's a couple of different twists and turns and different way they tell this story that really pulled on the heartstrings and dang near brought me to tears. And this movie, I feel, was just extremely mismarketed. It just seemed like Ryan Reynolds run around with, oh, your imaginary friend's real. This is a movie about how to deal with loss and a tragic event in your life and growing up and never letting go of that inner kid. And that's not in the marketing. But when you watch this movie, you're like, my goodness gracious. They have a great twist towards the end of this movie that I was just not expecting a movie like this to have. It brought a huge smile to my face. The voice casting is absolutely fantastic. John Krasinski, I love the guy as director. I don't think he's made a bad movie yet. I really liked what he did with this one. Ryan Reynolds, he's funny. It's battling the line of PG to PG-13, a couple with the language they use throughout there, so I thought that was kind of an identity crisis throughout the film. Nonetheless, it's a short, quick hitter, and I loved it. At number 2 is The Fall Guy, a movie about movie making, about the stunt people, giving the stunt people their limelight, and it bombed at the box office. I'm so bummed it bombed about the box office, but nonetheless, I had a ton of fun with this one. David Leitch is one of my favorite working directors today, and Ryan Gosling might be my favorite working actor. A guy who has a terrible accident happen to him, tried to come back to get the love of his life, goes on a crazy adventure to basically save the movie and to save his relationship with Emily Blunt. And now, while I say that out loud, it's messy. It is all over the place. And at times, you're kind of like, where in the hell are we actually going throughout this entire film? But it's so funny. It's so chaotic. And I think they almost do that on purpose in a way. And by the end, it gets like full-on Dune action. It's kind of bizarre. But Ryan Gosling is just so charming. He has so many different mannerisms he does and so many different funny scenes throughout this film. And they have Jean-Claude, the dog. You can have a dog in a movie, and I'm gonna love it. I'm just gonna love it. I love David Leitch. I thought what they did with this was so cool. I love movies, and I love movies about movie making. That's why I love this one so much. But at number 1, my favorite movie for the month of May, a top 3 of the year for me, is Hitman. I got to see this early in theaters near me. It is coming to Netflix here in just a couple of days on June 7th. So definitely watch it on Netflix. It did a select theater release. Lucky enough to go see it. This is a movie you need to watch. It's funny. It's that romantic comedy with a little bit of drama, a little bit of detective work in there that's based on a true story, which is absurd to say. A lady hires Glenn Powell, who is a hitman. He's an undercover cop, and he hires Simmons to be a hitman, and he basically tells you don't want to do it, and they slowly fall in love, and that, my friends, is a conflict of interest. And it's funny. It's fast-paced. Glenn Powell and Richard Linklater wrote this together. Richard Linklater, School of Rock, Dazed and Confused, 2 of some of my favorite movies ever. Coming to this one, made one of my favorite movies of the year so far. It's fast-paced, it's funny, and you get to see Glenn Powell be Glenn Powell 10 different ways, which is so cool. Love Glenn Powell. I love what he's doing. He's one of my favorite working actors today. Him and Ryan Gosling, put them in a movie together. I'm sold. For the month of May, Hitman was my favorite movie. It wasn't really close. That's going to do it for my ranking of all 6 movies I saw in the month of May. Let me know your ranking of all the movies you watched the month of May down below in the comment section. We're in June. TV shows and movies are a bonus, my friends. I'm excited for all of them. Thank you guys for watching and for being here. Hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.